This video is how to make a waterfall on a diorama or a railway model, and it's how I go about modelling this to make it look as realistic as possible. And it's one of a series of videos that I'm currently making on how to model water. Hello, my name's Flavin. I'm a railway modeller, and I created this diorama to take out to exhibitions and ultimately put it on my layout, the Edghay and Strines Railway. I painted the outline of where the water was going to fall down the face of the waterfall and the cliffs, and then I painted the cliffs with shiny varnish because water splashes and makes them look shiny. I then used a flat brush to paint white dots to show where the fall of the waterfall was going to be at the base where the pool is. I'm using the heavy structure gel that I used to make the waves and the movement in the pool. The video for this is in the description. And I've been putting pieces on the ledges as it goes up the waterfall, because as the water splashes down, there needs to be some evidence and some movement. At the base, I've got a piece of plastic which I'm slotting into place to push the last bit of the waterfall away from the wall to give a more natural look of the water falling into the pool. I use crystal clear silicone to make my waterfalls. I've used a silicone gun, and because these are the smaller waterfalls, I've done 2 lots of 3 runs of silicone. And then what I do is I use a spatula, a pointed spatula, to push the rows together. And if you look closely, you can see that already they're beginning to get a feel of flow and movement. What I then do is do it all the way down both of them, and I leave them to dry. The idea being that once they are dry, or very nearly dry, I can move on to the next stage, which is painting them to look like real water. I use white acrylic and a small brush to paint a chevron shape down the waterfall to give a feeling of flow and movement to it. And the other thing that you also need is some splash. Where the water lands, anywhere where water lands, you will find that there is a splashy area. It's called spume. And I use an old Christmas fleece. You can use lots of other fibres, and you can buy some specially for this. But what you do is, what I do is I tease a small bit away from the Christmas fleece, ready to use. I'm now at the point where I'm going to make the waterfall look more realistic. So I'm back using the heavy duty structure gel, and I've put a layer of it on top of the waterfall that I'd created so far with the chevron shape on it. And I've laid a piece of the fleece, the pulled out fleece on it, and I use some more of the structure gel to push it into place, either with my finger, but it's a bit messy, or with a spatula. It's a bit ephemeral, actually, and it's a tricky stage, but it is the bit that makes it all look as realistic as you can possibly make it. This is a piece of the waterfall that I made earlier, which I wanted to show you. I couldn't find any other bits, and this had been in the bin, so it's actually slightly dirty. But that doesn't really matter. I just wanted you to get a feel for what it looks like. Once it's dry, it's very flexible, which makes it an extremely useful product to work with. Once I've finished creating the waterfalls, I put them in place, and if they're still tacky, they will actually stay where I want them to be. But if I need to, I put glue behind them to hold them in place. I use the heavy structure gel at the base and at the top to make a seamless join, and also to create the feeling of movement of it flowing over the edges and down at the base. And having done that, I take some more of that fleece, tease it out, and place it so that it looks as if there's a splash on the waterfalls. This is a short clip of the completed diorama. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video and that the hints and the tips and the information that I've given you in it will be useful when you come to build the Scenics on your own layout, possibly in a different way to the way that you thought you might want to do them. Included in this series is a video on realistic water pool, flowing water, a whitewater river, a harbour, and frozen water. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to it, make a comment, and I'll continue to make some videos.